Notice, in accordance with new copyright regulations, this episode of Quoth the Raven is intended for ages 16 and up. While some of the content will feature is kid friendly, the context of the episodes will address adults and inform them of said content for them to research as consumers in service of their youth. In other words, parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, teachers, librarians, etc. There is the possibility of adult language present on the episode as well, rated TV 16 and up. And welcome once again to Quoth Raven, Lewis Bright Raven. I'm your host, Lewis Bright Raven, 28-year veteran of comics, science fiction, fantasy, and role-playing games as a writer, artist, and editor. We're going to go ahead right into the reviews because I'm behind. I found a bunch of stuff that I hadn't read, a whole stack from late November and all through December, so we're just going to do our best to get through as much as we can. Starting with Amethyst 6, $3.99. Publisher is DC Comics. Artist, writer, and illustrator was Amy Reeder. Colors by Marissa Louise. This was the last episode of the miniseries. Genre is fantasy superhero, released in December of 2020. And what it's about is, with all of her family's secrets and misdeeds laid bare, Princess Amethyst wrestles not only with the dark legacy she's inherited, but with the combined forces of Lord Opal and the Diamond Court, who seek to destroy her for the crimes of her house. In the end, she must make a choice that could cost her everything, including her powers. Overall, the series is very well done. Probably one of the more underrated series of by DC in 2020. So if you missed it in singles, it wouldn't be a bad idea if you pick up the trade. It's recommended for ages 13 and up. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Our next book, our books, are Batman: The Adventures Continue, number 7 and 8. Publisher DC Comics. Writers are Alan Burnett and Paul Dini. Artist is Ty Templeton, with colors by Monica Cabina. Genre is superhero, released in November and December of 2020. And what it's about, well, the Red Hood story arc concludes in issue number 7. It was a 3-issue story arc, with Batman forced to choose between Joker and Tim Drake as Red Hood sets him up to pick between their lives. In issue number 8, Burnett and Dini give us a star-studded holiday issue where Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy throw a Christmas party for all the criminals in Gotham, while Arnold Wexler, the man who is Scarface, the puppeteer, who carries around the ventriloquist. He's the ventriloquist character. He carries the Scarface puppet. He seemingly has been cured and has gotten rid of the doll, but of course the Joker has his own plans to screw up everything. Both stories are really good. I just wish the regular Batman titles were written as well, because to me the regular Batmans are just a headache. Recommended for ages 13 and up, according to DC. I think it could be younger even than that, but if they want to say 13, okay. 5 stars out of 5. Let's look at the art. And here we've got Red Hood taking medicines from, I can't remember her name, Dr. Leslie Tompkins. And he doesn't really do much. I mean, he swipes at her, but he doesn't hit her in a previous page. It could be implied that he knocked her back, but it doesn't actually show the physical contact. And basically, he walks out, and then she calls Batman. And, of course, in the last issue, he beat up Alfred a little bit. And so Leslie tells him, you do whatever you got to do, but just stop him, you know. And again, you know, Batman knows that Red Hood or Jason Todd is using Tim Drake as bait to get him to do whatever it is he wants, which is, of course, pick between Tim Drake and Joker as who he's going to rescue. Batgirl follows him around. Batgirl gets in trouble too, but yeah, it is what it is. And here's where he's got Robin trapped in a plastic box and stuff like that. And then the Joker's at the Penguin's hideout with his new sidekick, which is the Straight Man, who's this ex-cop who's just big and brawny and has a few other things affecting him by the Joker. It's really well drawn. I enjoyed it overall for that. And then this is from the issue 8 where Harley, this is where he Honor Wexler, the ventriloquist, is being let go from Arkham Asylum, told he's cured, he can leave. And then Harley's talking to Ivy about how they need to have Christmas party bash. All in all, well done. I really like Ty Templeton's work on this stuff. Our next books are Dryads number 7 and 8 for $3.99 each. Publishers Only Press. Writers Curtis Wiebe. Artist is Justin Barcelo. Colors by Francesco Segala. The genre is fantasy, and these were released in November and December of 2020. And what's about Rana and Griffin, the twins, have learned that their parents are not their biological parents. In fact, Yale and Morgan, their parents, found them in a laboratory being experimented upon. Now the twins are forced back to the city. They are beginning to show natural innate magical abilities. Now the Glass family has a moment to breathe and plan how they're going to get the information they desperately need about their kids, but has the bonds of familiar trust been destroyed by the truth? Yale and Morgan give more details about how they found the twins, and this includes the death of 2 of their teammates who sacrificed themselves so that the whole family could escape. Rana runs off angry because of the situation and the guilt of somebody else dying for them. Griffin follows, and the twins meet other kids their age who take them out to see the town. Morgan takes Creston and Val to hit data sites of Muse. However, Creston pulls a gun on Val and says she's untrustworthy. His gut is correct and admits she's been paid off. Meanwhile, Yale walks to the city and meets up with his brother, Lou, who has tried to commit suicide after Yale faked his own death. The problem is that their father has continued to rebuild Lou since he still had uses. Both realize they don't want to work with their dad, and Lou reveals what he knows. The twins were there to be used as a tool to bring back magic to their realm. As is wont with this series, it's just really incredibly slow paced, and would work a hell of a lot better as a prose fiction novel for all the verbosity and talking heads going on in the books. You're supposed to show things in comics, not just tell. This is also true in prose writing, of course, for that matter. So who knows how ridiculous it would have gotten if it was a prose fiction story. I would say that I hope the story picks up the pace, but after 8 plotting issues, I just can't hold out any more expectations like that. I would recommend that you only buy this in trade if you haven't picked it up yet, if it interests you. The art is nice. Barcelo does a nice job on the art, but Wiebe is just so slow with this. It's makes it average at best. And it's recommended for 13 and up, rated 3 out of 5 stars. Our next book is Far Sector number 9 for $3.99. Publisher is DC Comics by writer Nora K. Jemisin or N.K. Jemisin. Artist is Jamal Campbell. The genre is science fiction and superhero and released in December of 2020. What it's about: Green Lantern Joe Maline's investigation into the conspiracy of the Heart of the City Enduring takes her to the platform Solid Ground, which is an alien farmland where most of the city's food comes from. But what the headstrong Green Lantern discovers there shakes her to her core as the far sector's thrilling threads of murder and machinations build to a fever pitch. Now, this is a slower paced issue comparative to earlier issues. It's kind of almost like a recap of what's gone on in the previous issues, but it's also a breather, like a police detective needs to step back, reassess what the known is, and then acquire more information. Ask the right questions. And that's kind of what she's doing here, what the character and the author are doing. Because they're trying, the author, who is female, is trying to do is pace the story in accordance with what the character is going through with reassessing the information that she has. So you get new information in this episode or issue, and there are reveals there throughout the conversation, such that the Maline is having with other characters, and the somewhat disturbing end page reveal as well. It's recommended for mature readers, and I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. Whoops, we got something. Okay, there we go. Our next book is We Only Find Them When They're Dead, number 4 and number 5, $3.99. Publisher is Boom Studios. Writer is Al Ewing with artist Simeon DeMeo. The genre is science fiction. These were released in December 20 and January 2021, respectively. And what it's about is the story begins with several timelines being shown simultaneously in conjunction with what had carried over from issue 3. A young Georges witnesses a god for the first time. Alice floats lifelessly through space after being shot by Richter. Georges, older now, learns of the destruction of his mother's ship and then her ensuing death, which is Alice. Finally, back in the present, Georges resolves himself for a final mission. He leaves the ship in his engineer's hands and then goes out into space to retrieve Alice's body. Richter lines up a shot but hesitates, wanting to see Georges' face when she kills him. He counts on that as he grabs onto Alice's corpse, even as the remaining crew of his ship look on. But Georges has one final trick up his sleeve that no one is prepared for, and when all is said and done, nothing will be the same. In issue 5, we finally get to find out what the hell Richter's problem is and what her hang-up about Georges is all about. And what it is George's brother Theory had been Richter's betrothed lover. And Theory was on the Vihan, which is the name of the ship, in George's place, when he and their family decided to make a smuggling run with contraband goods. This resulted in their deaths and a severe injury to Richter. Now, standing before a living God, Richter confronts Georges about his role in the accident, but it will all come down to the hands of fate to decide how this will finally end. This point of the story took way too long to get there, in my opinion, but once the writer finally got it there, it hit home solidly. Overall, it's a decent enough story arc, but this is the end of the story arc, and I'm done with this series. Ewing took way too long to get to the point of it all for me, at least, what I thought the point of the story was, for what he was trying to do. And since this is just the end of the first arc, I really don't want to hang around to see what happens as he develops the next storyline. But a lot of people seem to be enjoying this book, and deservedly so. I'm not saying it's a bad book. It's just I've had my fill of it. Recommended for ages 13 up, 3 out of 5 stars. Our next book is GIGA number 2. It's $3.99 from Vault Comics. Writer is Alex Packnadel. The artist is John Lay. And the artist is Roche. genre science fiction, released in December of 2020. And what it's about, the story opens with an incident from Evan and Aiko's past where they're both young initiates. She surprises him with a pair of prosthetics legs she has made because she wants him to be able to come with her someplace. He would rather make his own way. And we learned he has been studying neurocybernetics, although actually to do so is considered heresy. In a little throwaway line that becomes a theme throughout this issue, Aiko says there is no heresy among the initiated. In other words, people who already know what they're doing, it's not heresy. But if you study it, because you don't know it, it's heresy. It's that it's the hypocrisy of it. Okay, is what they're driving at. In the present, the well-armed band of dusters that captured Evan question him, wanting to know why he's there and why he's alone. Or whether he's alone, rather. Now, he did come with Laurel, the AI robot, and she's hiding among the machinery. As he admits that he's alone, a group of police come in and take everyone into custody. Evan now finds himself being interrogated by the police, at least until his former friend Mason comes in. Mason has tracked Evan and has pulled him out of the situation, but he really wants to know why the dusters were there. He also wants to know about Evan's robot. He uses this knowledge as leverage to get Evan to rebuild the GIGA's interface so that they can learn how it died. Mason then goes to see Father Crockwell, who's been taking apart and reassembling a mechanism on one of their sacred books. Mason recognizes this as a crime, but Crockwell understands his own power and explains that flirting with a little damnation is essentially his prerogative. Again, it's the whole church initiated, hypocrisy thing going on. Mm-hmm. He also makes another interesting comment that speaks to the history and religion of this unusual world. The GIGA, known as the Red King, was considered a vessel of evil, and when it finally rusts and decays, the evil it holds will be unleashed on the world. Is there a grain of truth behind this belief? Yes or no? Well, that's something that probably have to be explored in future issues. We'll wait and see on that. In the meantime, Evan is under time pressure to fix the interface and cannot work on Laurel. And for those who don't remember the earlier issues, Laurel's brain box for her AI, the program is eroding and is continuing to deteriorate. Meanwhile, in a duster camp, we learned that they did not recover what they were looking for, which was a woman, and not just any woman, but Aiko, who, now her group has been providing weapons in turns for the dusters' protection. So there's more, I don't want to call it shenanigans, but more backstage political drama kind of going on between groups here. Meanwhile, Evan finally finishes his work and goes with Mason and his men back to the GIGA. It is not until they get there that he learns he will not be the one using the interface, however. That job's been given to Brother Saber. Interfacing with the GIGA is dangerous. He has only a minute or so before his brain will get fried if he doesn't do it right. Well, this time it's one of Mason's men who points out the heresy. Brother Saber survives his minute and claims that it was the dusters who killed the GIGA. A lot of people kind of go, about that, but okay. Still on the ground below them, however, Evan finds remains of another interface device. What could this mean? The mystery deepens. The art is solid, and the intertwining of religion and law enforcement in this world is in the hypocrisies and the contradictions of things. It's quite interesting. The story stands out amongst the products out there today as something different and worthwhile. I was not entirely sold on this series with issue 1, if people remember when I reviewed it a while ago. But after this issue, I look forward to continuing the journey. It's recommended for ages 16 and up, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Let's look at some art for it. this is where Evan is freaking out, trying to get away from the police. He's being followed by dusters and police, and he, as you can see, Laurel is hiding behind the grate back there, and she's like, "Help me! I'm leaking fuel, and the ambiotic liquids in my brain box are going bad, and I'm losing my memory." And he's like, "I can't help you right now. I'm sorry. I got to get this done. Just hold on. I'll do what I can." Um, so, nice artwork. I like the fact the character is differently abled, I guess is the politically correct term, in the wheelchair. It's like to have a lead that's not, I don't want to say the word normal, but what we're used to seeing, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. Makes the character stand out, and it's nice representation. Mm-hmm. Our next group of books are Strange Adventures 7 and 8, the publishers DC Comics. These are $4.99, by the way. Publishers DC Comics, writers Tom King, artists Mitch Gerards and Evan Doc Shaner. Genre is superhero, I guess. Released in December 20 and January 2021, respectively. And what it's about, Adam Strange seemingly keeps transversing the universe via a Zeta beam in issue 7, back and forth, different times and dimensions. It's kind of a weird thing. And it's revealed that he killed a human that he thought was a picked scout, which is why he set the Justice League onto the investigation into him from the start at the beginning of the series. But now the Picts have attacked Earth, and the League is busy trying to defend the planet, and they're failing miserably as Phoenix, Arizona, and other locales are destroyed. Bye-bye, Greg Burgess. Bye-bye, Armand Villavert. Nice knowing you. They're dead now. at least their analogous counterparts in the DC universe are. But it seems like Adam's hiding things, and really the story isn't making a whole lot of sense to me as Batman and Mr. Terrific capture and interrogate a Pict Scout who tells them that everything the Iranians and Adam Strange have told them about the Pict War on Ron was a lie, and thus the reason they're attacking Earth is revenge for the genocide of their race by the order of Adam Strange. I still say this story is taking way too long, much like Dryad. We have another 4 issues of this. Ugh. Okay. I hope at the end of this bullshit they haven't turned into Adam Strange into a war criminal or something. I don't need my hero books turned into this bullshit socio-political commentary. Why not write a fucking original graphic novel instead? With your own characters. Afraid that it wouldn't sell? Probably because it's not that good of a story. Mature readers, 2 out of 5 stars. I'm going to finish the dumb thing, but I'm not looking forward to it. Here's some of the artwork by Mr. Gerards. The only thing I can say is kind of interesting is here, and why I picked these pages, is there is sign language going on here in the bottom left panel. And I used to know sign language, but I'm kind of like looking at it and just none of it's making anything that sense to me. I didn't take time to go look it up online to see what the symbols are, to see what it is, but I am presuming that those are words of some kind with that. So, there's some sort of message code being presented there. Mm-hmm. So, that is pretty much our review for tonight. There was a lot of stuff I hadn't read. Mm-hmm. I finally got one person watching, apparently. But as it is, I do have a couple of questions people asked me about. They asked me if I had seen had watched the Watchmen DVD yet because I got it for Christmas. I watched it this past weekend. I will review that on Friday. I also watched the New Mutants video I got for Christmas this weekend, and I'll review that on Friday as well. Okay. Now, because I didn't get to read everything that I planned to read because I had so much back issue content that I needed to get caught up on, I'm going to have another episode tomorrow, and that's what the Tuesday special symbol was. It'll be at 6:30 p.m. tomorrow night. We'll review Heavy Metal number 303, Kaiju Score number 3, the Lumen graphic novel by Tony McMillan, Resonant number 6, Sea of Stars number 8, Stake number 1, Sympathy Unto Devils number 4, Yosaki Yojimbo Wanderer's Road number 3, Villainous, I think it's number 5. I could make sure that. No, it's Villainous number 3. Pardon me. Okay, Villainous number 3, and then the hardcover edition of Frank Thorne's Rivet that Hermes Press put together. That will be tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Then on Wednesday, we'll do what did you get this week. Thursday, we'll have our roundtable talk. Our guest is not finally confirmed. Hopefully, I'll have that information for you guys tomorrow. If not, I'll have it on Wednesday. And on Friday, I'll be doing part 2 of the obscure science fiction favorite science fiction shows and stuff, and a review of Watchmen and New Mutants. If you want to get in touch with me between then and now, you go on Facebook at Lewis.BrightRaven, Twitter at LewisBrightRave2, DeviantArt.com/BrightRaven, at YouTube at Quoth the Raven, Lewis BrightRaven. On Gmail is QuothTheRavenLBR72 at gmail.com, LewisBrightRaven at yahoo.com. So that's it for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow evening at 6:30. Have a good day and good evening, and see you tomorrow.